22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. They see that the whites are so evenly divided that every time they vote, the race is so close, they have to go back and count the votes all over again. And which means that any block, any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who'll go to the White House and who'll stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You can keep Johnson in Washington, D.C., or you can send him back to his Texas cotton patch. You're the one who sent Kennedy to Washington. You're the one who put the present Democratic administration in Washington, D.C. The whites were evenly divided. It was the fact that you threw 80% of your votes behind the Democrats that put the Democrats in the White House. When you see this, you can see that the Negro vote is the key factor. And despite the fact that you are in a position to be the determining factor, what do you get out of it? The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they've brought it up and gotten it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first and they put you last. Because you're a chump. A political chump. In Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republican. In the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you bash controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.
Stopping it there, don't actually know how much more there is. Liberals and progressives love to cherry pick Malcolm X. He's such a powerful and black leader from the past that people want, what he says to push whatever narrative or political ideology that they're on. Now, do I think Malcolm X loved the Republican Party? Probably not, especially early on in his career. But unlike the Democratic Party, the Republican Party never really pandered to any other community, never pandered to the minority groups. They're all about the U.S., the United States, America as a whole, right? And I'm not saying they're perfect, and actually, for the most part, for generations, they've been pretty weak. Just recently, they've sort of reached out to other communities because they realized that their marketing just was really shit. I think he's being a bit harsh when he says traitor to your race. I don't like that because people will say that even about black Republicans, call them race traitors and stuff like that. I just think for a very long time, for generations and generations, the black community has just been duped. We've been fooled. We've been brainwashed to the point where there is a lot of black people that literally thinks if you are a conservative or a Republican, you hate black people. You are straight up racist. You are a transphobe. You're a homophobe. You're a misogynist. All these things. They just, without a blink of an eye, like Nicki Minaj put up this quote around the time when she got into that shit about the whole, poke and the mask and all that stuff. And she was saying, like, just because there are certain talking points that's being mostly talked about on the right doesn't mean it's not true. And she was like, Democrats and liberals have been so brainwashed by the mainstream and legacy media to just like completely hate anything that's considered right-wing or conservative, that if a conservative was like, hey, there's a bus coming or a truck coming and you're standing and a liberal standing in the middle of the street, they would just get hit by the truck. because a conservative is the one that was trying to save their life. They don't, it's just like this blind hatred and this blind faith of anything that the liberal or the Democrats are saying. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of stuff isn't necessarily conservative or Republican. The media will deem it that. They will label something right-winged to demonize it, and that's how you know how invasive this brainwashing is, because the word Republican and conservative is so demonized in America that all you have to do is label something right-winged, and it's like, like, let me not touch that, let me not like talk about that, let me not use that terminology because the Republicans use it or the conservatives use it, right? Like Joe Rogan talked about this when he talked about grooming teachers, and that people refuse to accept or even talk about or have a conversation about that there is some grooming shit going in our education system, only because the media has deemed only right-wing Trump supporters believe in that crazy conspiracy theory. So it's like, let me not talk about it because I don't want to be considered a Trump supporter or right-winger. Let me not talk about the fact that the last 2 years of the global virus and all the shit that the government has done makes no sense because the right-wingers only talk about that stuff. You know what I mean? It's just, it's absolutely crazy. And from a certain point of view, you're almost like admire the how deep that brainwashing actually goes. Okay, I think I went on too much of a rant about conservatives, but the point of that rant I was trying to make is like, Black people, people of color, minority groups, progressives will continue voting for a party that doesn't give a fuck about you and that spit in your face and have shown you for generations and generations and decades, they don't give a flying fuck about you, right? It's like this weird, abusive, symbiotic relationship between minority groups and the Liberal Party. It's like every year they apologize for not doing much for you or not helping you. They blame racism for the lack of help they've given you. And then they promise to do better again in the next 4 years. Just make sure you vote for us. And then you do, and the cycle just continues. From generation to generation, parents tell their kids, this is who you gotta vote for. This is who you gotta vote for. This is the enemy. This is the enemy. And people just continue this fucking cycle without a thought. Now, I do think people are slowly waking up. I really do. From like across the board, from every community there is, people are starting to be like, something's wrong. But the fact that 80%, I think it's even 90%, I don't even know if those numbers are even right anymore. I think overwhelmingly majority of people of color vote one way. That has, like, again, the intensity, they really, it's like so rooted that an overwhelming amount of people vote one way. That is insane to me. And it's not like we're getting anything out of it. It's just this brainwashed fear that the media keeps pushing, this fear mongering. If you don't vote for us, then, oh my God, you're gonna be a slave again, and all your women's rights are gonna be taken away, and gay people are gonna be stoned in the streets again, and we'll be Handmaid's Tale, vote for us. Like, it's just constant fear rhetoric over and over and over again. And a lot of people are just lazy. A lot of people just don't have the time in the day or the want to really do the research, and so they just vote out of habit, those low informational voters. Okay. That's enough ranting. I'm going to continue.
And what kind of alibi do they come up with? They try and pass the buck to the Dixiecrats. Now, back during the days when you were blind, deaf, and dumb, ignorant, politically immature, naturally you went along with that. But today, as your eyes come open and you develop political maturity, you're able to see and think for yourself. And you can see that a Dixiecrat is nothing but a Democrat in disguise. You look at the structure of the government that controls this country. It's controlled by 16 senatorial committees and 20 congressional committees. Of the 16 senatorial committees that run the government, 10 of them are in the hands of Southern segregationists. Of the 20 congressional committees that run the government, 12 of them are in the hands of Southern segregationists.
All right, that's it. So a Dixiecrat is basically a Democrat that, it was a Democratic Party that was like pro-slavery and pro-segregation and stuff like that. And the Democrats, once again, somehow like convinced like, generations of people that no, it flipped, it switched, we're not the same. I mean, come on, go back to good old Joe Biden's career, his early days, he was a Dixiecrat. A lot of them are rooted in Dixiecrats, but you just keep believing in the whole switch thing. I mean, you can see it. It's out there. It's like, if Joe Biden is so comfortable saying, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Like, come on. If progressives literally think black people are too dumb to get a fucking voter ID, like, seriously, if there's academic papers that say progressives actually dumb down their language when they talk to black people, you don't really think that they're still not rooted all the way back in those days just because they call it something else now? They call it anti-racist or whatever. It is true. Like, I think, like, I know the midterms are happening-ish right now, so I don't know if it's the same right now, but after Trump lost the election, the Democrats ran everything. They ran the Senate, they ran the Congress, they had the president, like, they ran everything. Has your life gotten better? But they're going to convince you in the next election, it was the Republicans that stopped us from any change. We promise to do better next time. And the whole abusive cycle just goes round and round and round again, and you can pass the buck to your grandkids. And by the way, I'm not telling people to just jump on the train with Republicans either. I'm telling people to like open their eyes and become critical thinkers and do your fucking research instead of just repeating the cycle. Anyway guys, tell me what you think. Please put your comments in the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get some notifications when I do upload. All that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support this channel any further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link in the description box below and also in the comment section. Of course it helps, but you don't have to. You can just like, comment, subscribe. Another great way to support this channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below and links to all of the alternative platforms. My socials, including my Twitter, all the ways to support me and other ways to contact me for business is always in the links down below. I also have a second travel vlog channel, I travel as a lifestyle, I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go in the description box below and also in the comment section. Hit the link, go subscribe to my travel vlog channel and or follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most up to date, and you guys have an amazing day. Bye!